In 1984, Donna Haraways wrote a Cyborg Manifesto, Science, Technology, and Socialist Feminism in the late 20th century. Something important to note prior to reading the manifesto is Haraways has an academic background in politics and biology. Haraways' Cyborg Manifesto was written in order to build an ironic political myth tied to feminism, socialism, and materialism. Haraways gives three main definitions of what a cyborg is. 1. A hybrid of machine and organism. 2. A creature of social reality. And 3. A creature of fiction. Haraways says that we are cyborgs. The cyborg is what makes us us. It's our ontology. We are a hybrid of a machine and organism. Cyborgs are creatures in a post-gender world. Now, this doesn't mean that they don't see gender or sex, but they don't see those things as a main factor in who we are as people. A quote from page 175 states, "Feminist cyborg stories have the task of recoding communication and intelligence to subvert command and control." Haraways gives two perspectives of a cyborg world. The first being a cyborg world is about the final imposition of a grid of control on the planet. The second being a cyborg world might be about lived and bodily realities in which people are not afraid of their joint kinship with animals and machines, not afraid of permanently partial identities and contradictory standpoints. An important quote on page 151 states the main trouble with cyborgs, of course, is that they are the illegitimate offspring of militarism and patriarchal capitalism, not to mention state socialism. Haraways makes a large distinction between historical monsters and cyborg monsters. Historical monsters being things like centaurs or Frankenstein. What Haraways states as a cyborg monster is, cyborg monsters in feminist science fiction define quite different political possibilities and limits from those proposed by the mundane fiction of men and women. Haraways states that what is monstrous in a cyborg world is the fusion between animal and machine, so the cyborg itself. Haraways uses the word monster and monstrous when describing a cyborg. I don't believe that she uses the word monster in a negative way. In fact, it seems that she uses the term hand in hand with the word promise. She believes a cyborg world is a chance for a utopian society. Something that Haraways rejects in her manifesto is radical or traditional feminism. She rejects this kind of feminism because it still states that men are one thing and women are another. Traditional feminism separates men and women in ways that shouldn't matter. Haraways also rejects dualism. Some important examples of dualism that Haraways lists in her manifesto are self, other, mind, body, male, female, right, wrong. To believe in duality would be to believe in compromise, and Haraways does not believe in compromising. Our society is different from those in the past. We have things like social media and the internet that help us better understand issues in a way that we couldn't before. We now have the ability to interact with people from all over the world and from all different cultures to hear their input on different topics, such as feminism. On page 177, Haraways states high-tech culture challenges these dualisms. A main takeaway to get from this reading is that Haraways embraces technology. Haraways also embraces cyborgs and the non-distinction that they bring to our community. Haraways embraces a monstrous world, the cyborg world, the idea of promise. The cyborg world brings about an opportunity for our society to become a utopia, a world in which a person's gender doesn't define who they are, a world without stigmas. Haraways embraces regeneration over rebirth. She states the possibility for our reconstitution include the utopian dream of the hope for a monstrous world without gender. In the last line of her manifesto, Haraways states, "I would rather be a cyborg than a goddess." She no longer wants the stigmas that go along with gender to define who a person should be. A person should define that on their own, without their sex or sexuality defining it for them.